Britain's new Prime Minister says he wants to reset his country's relationship with the European Union, improving on the Brexit deal reached by his predecessors. But after years of fractious negotiations, getting concessions out of Brussels may prove more difficult. Stuart Smith reports from London.
We are not asking for a penny piece of community money for Britain. What we are asking is for a very large amount of our own money back.
It was never really smooth sailing for the United Kingdom and its European neighbours. In fact, relations with Europe have always been a topic of fierce debate at the heart of British politics. Since joining what was then called the European Communities in 1973, some of the UK's prime ministers sought to forge closer ties with the EU. Others wanted quite the opposite. Now, the newly elected left-wing government led by Keir Starmer says it wants to reset the UK's relationship with Brussels after 8 years of acrimonious Brexit negotiations.
I do think there's a closer relationship to be had that includes trade, that includes education and research, and includes security. That is partly what we mean by the reset.
The Starmer government has a number of deals it would like to strike with the EU. Top of the wish list is a security pact. Both sides are aligned on security issues, and this should be relatively straightforward. Another plausible deal could be on education and youth mobility, like including the UK in the EU's Erasmus study abroad programme. Other parts of the reset will be tougher. Migration has become the political hot-button issue in Europe, and while London may want a deal on stopping small boats in the Channel, the EU seems to have limited interest in striking one. Finally, there's the big one, trade. The new British government wants to ease customs checks at Europe's borders and align some of the UK's standards to the EU's in the hopes of getting a new, better trade deal.
Currently, the Starmer government is not in a particularly great negotiating position. If the policy issues are lower key, kind of a low-hanging fruit, so if it's about standards in terms of veterinary science or regulations or agricultural standards, that should be fairly straightforward because the public would not mind concessions on sort of issues that are perceived to be technocratic.
The response from Brussels so far has been lukewarm at best, with limited appetite to re-enter yet another round of lengthy negotiations. European officials have made it clear that London should focus on implementing the deals it already struck with Brussels before trying to strike new ones.
This is a relationship which is bound to continue to develop, but it's also for the United Kingdom to say what it is that it wants in terms of making this relationship move forward. Let me remind you that the agreements that we signed were based on a series of red lines that had been set at the time by the United Kingdom.
The new British Prime Minister may have more luck with individual EU members. Having just signed a new security agreement with the UK, Germany has said it too is eager for an EU-wide post-Brexit reset, including agreements on trade, agriculture and youth mobility. Pressure from Berlin could lead to Brussels becoming more amenable to improving ties with London. France will also be crucial. The thorny issue of small boat crossings has long been a source of tension on either side of the English Channel, and could be a make or break issue for future EU-UK relations. But it's another tricky one.
However much money the UK throws at France is nowhere near enough in terms of policing costs for the French government. But also politically, with the right-wing shift in French politics, there is really little appetite to be doing policing on the accounts of the UK.
The new UK government is intent on improving its relationship with the EU, but experts say that turning warm words and good intentions into concrete action and lasting change will require months of careful diplomacy, with European diplomats still bruised from years of tense Brexit talks. Stuart Smith, CNA, London.